everybody. How's everybody doing today? Awesome. Hey, my name is Nick. I'm one of the pastors. I want to welcome all those watching online, whether it's through Facebook Live or through the app or whatever way. We are glad you're joining us this morning. Today, I am pumped up. Pray for me. I said some stuff I probably shouldn't have in first service. Going to try my best to do that, not in this service. But we are kicking off a series called LSD, Love, Sex, and Dating. And I don't know about you, but I learned a lot about love and dating and stuff like that from Disney, okay, growing up. How many of you have a favorite Disney movie? Yeah, a couple of you. Okay, the rest of you are liars. Anyway, all right, so that's cool. I love Disney. I grew up watching Disney, and I had a favorite movie because they're all this happily ever after thing. And for me, it was Aladdin. Okay, I loved Aladdin. The genie, it was awesome. Robin Williams. Okay, it was just this great movie, and I watched it over and over and over and over again. But what I realized is my kids, I've got 5 kids, okay, so we've got the whole LSD thing working great, all right? Anyway, so I got 5 kids, and so as kids, we watch those now with our kids, and I was watching Aladdin a few weeks ago with my kids, and I realized something, and maybe you've noticed this. You watch Disney movies differently as an adult than you did as a kid, right? I mean, there's some jokes that you're like, oh, that's wildly inappropriate. I missed that the first time, you know? I mean, because as a kid, you're like, oh, that's great, you know? But, you know, and I realized that, and I was watching Aladdin again, and it was the scene about love, and he's got her on a magic carpet. Oh, it's magical. And he's singing the whole song, A Whole New World. I mean, I thought about singing it. No one wants to hear that. But, you know, it's a whole new world, you know, whole deal. And I was watching it thinking, liar. It's not a whole new world. It's just different dirt. Like, you watch that scene, it's like he doesn't take her anywhere. And then you realize, man, she is dating this loser. He's got a bad character. He lies. He steals, okay? And he almost kills everybody in the process. It's this messed up world. But, and this is what Disney teaches us, they had passion. Oh, it's a whole new world. Anyway, so, yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, see, that's why you come to second service, not first. I didn't do that first service. All right. No, I love that, but I started thinking back, I wonder if some other Disney movies are as messed up, and I found out they all are, okay? Every single one of them. I'm about to ruin a few of them for you really quickly. Little Mermaid, how many people love Little Mermaid? Yeah, she's an underage hoarding stalker, okay? That's what she is right there. That's all she is. She's like peering out, looking, creeper. Like, that's weird. Don't do that. But again, it's passion. Oh, she can't speak. Oh, it's passion. Oh, it's great. Sleeping Beauty, how many people? My wife's favorite movie, crushed it this week. That was awesome. Got to destroy that for her. Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, same thing. It's weird. It's creepy. Because at the end of both the movies, you have a woman who is sleeping, and the guy's first instinct is, let's make out. That's weird. It's a little date rapey, okay? That's weird. Don't do that. But again, we watch those, and we're like, oh, it's love. It's happily ever after. No, it's creepily ever after. That's what it really is, and you never see the rest of it. Beauty and the Beast. Can anybody say Stockholm Syndrome? That's all I'm going to say. Like, hey, just grab a girl, put her in a jail, keep her there long, she'll fall in love with you. That's great. These are bad moral lessons for us, but we grow up watching them, and it's all about passion, so we buy it. Our movies are no different. Titanic, loved Titanic. How many people went to the movies and watched Titanic? It was a great, great movie. Loved it. I'll be honest, I was one of those people. I loved watching the Titanic for the most part. And again, it's about passion. It's about this wonderful love story, this rich young girl and this poor young boy, and their lives come together and it ends in tragedy. Oh, tragedy, but passion. It's a terrible movie, okay? You know why? Because I don't care what anybody says, Jack could have lived, okay? She's selfish, and she's spoiled, and she's rich, and she's on a board at the end, and she's like, oh, there's no room. I'll never let you go. Bloop. Oh, sorry. You know, that's how it ends, right? I actually did some research on this. Look, here we go. See? There's a scene. Could have fit, could have fit, could have fit, could have fit, could have fit. Had no problem doing that earlier in the scene. Apparently, when it's cold, they have a problem. Anyway, all right. So, told you we were going to have some fun today. My tech booth is holding their face like this. Anyway, so, all right. It's great. No, I mean, but it's okay. We watch it, and we go, oh, she's not selfish. She's passion. The Notebook. How many of you ever seen The Notebook? Poor souls. What a ridiculously terrible movie. I'm going to tell you the lesson I learned from The Notebook, okay, is you can verbally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically abuse somebody else. You can throw something at somebody else as long as at the right moment the sky cries and it rains on you And you discover in one moment, oh, it's okay. Why is it okay? Because he wrote me letters. The letters, oh, letters. It's a terrible movie. Terrible. Men, when your wife or girlfriend looks at you and says, why can't you be more like Noah? You look right back at her and go, because I'm not a psychopath. Okay, that's the exact answer. Why can't you write letters? Because I'm normal, okay? Why can't you build me a house? Because I'm normal. Anyway, so it's a bad movie. We are so mixed up. But again, we watch that movie and it's all about passion, and we have this immature, messed up understanding of love. It's completely teenage love, and it's all about passion, and it's really, really messed up. And it sets us up for failure. And today and over the next several weeks, we're doing this series because my hope, my prayer is that we would grow up in our understanding of love. That we would graduate high school, so to speak, as our understanding of love, and we would get to a better place in where we're going. Because not only are we messed up, but everybody is messed up. It's so confusing. And so, today's going to be a little bit different. Today, I'm going to teach more than I'm going to preach. I mean, I love standing up here and getting loud and crazy and kind of walking through things. But today, I've got a lot of content that I need to communicate to you. And I'm going to teach more than preach. And at the end of it, it is going to be the foundation for everything we're going to do. And just so you know, we're not going to get to the whole God piece, not because we don't believe in God, till the very, very end. But there are some things that happen to you physiologically, biologically, when you fall in love. And if you're not careful, it will cause you to make poor, bad, regrettable, guilt-filled decisions, all under the guise of love. So, for the next few moments, I want to unpack physically what happens to you. In fact, I believe that there are three things, there's probably more than three, but three things I've discovered in doing research that happens to you. This happens to everybody, whether you believe in God, whether you don't. This happens to everybody. Three things. Number one is this: drugs, okay? How many people like drugs? Don't raise your hand. That was a test, okay? Good job. You passed. All right, yeah. Drugs. Here's the deal. When you meet somebody else and you start to fall in love, there are more than this, but here are three really quickly. Dopamine goes off. Dopamine is a drug that is on par with crack cocaine. It is incredibly powerful. It's in part of the brain that is about your reward system. And when it goes off, your body tells you, do that again, do that again, do that again, do that again, do that again. Why? Because it feels great. It's incredibly addictive. That's why we call this series LSD, the drug of choice. Because here's the deal. In high school, this drug lasts somewhere between 3 to 6 months, and it feels amazing. And if you've ever wondered why in high school kids go from relationship to relationship to relationship, and they last about 3 to 6 months, it's this right here. Because they find somebody and they get high, and it feels good, and they stick with them, and they keep going back for that hit until the hit comes off, no more. But then they find somebody else, and that's hit over there. And then, you don't do it for me anymore, and I don't love you anymore, and I thought you were special, and I thought you were unique, but I found somebody else, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do this, and then until that drug wears off, and it goes off. Dopamine, incredibly, incredibly powerful. There's a reason that they call it love drunk. It is powerful. And if you're not careful, you will come to some wrong conclusions about who they are, missing the fact that it just happens to everybody. Dopamine, incredibly, incredibly strong. Endorphins, it's our pain management system. Matter of fact, they're looking and doing research into that more and more, and it's fascinating to me. But if you've ever wondered why we go from relationship to relationship, when you have heartbreak and you go find somebody else to hook up with, or you go find somebody else to replace them with, why? Because endorphins actually subside the pain. It kind of makes us feel better. It's that bridge gap. They call them rebound relationships or things like that. I just need somebody. I just need a hit. I just need this little thing to kind of get me through because I broke up with somebody else, or I lost this kind of drug. I lost this thing, and I feel so bad. So I'm going to find somebody else, and I'm going to use them so that I feel better until I feel better. And then when I'm done feeling better, then I'm going to move on with them, and I'm going to go to somebody else when I feel the high of the dopamine effect. Happens to everybody. You're not special in good or bad ways. It happens to every single person. Every time you meet somebody, I don't care whether you're in grade school or whether you're 90, this happens. Oxytocin, they call it the cuddle drug. Some people call it liquid truth. The reason they call it liquid truth is it's so powerful, it'll actually make you believe certain things that are not true. That's why you see things in people that you don't normally see. It's why you see things in people that other people don't see, and you believe them at your core. And it doesn't matter how much somebody else tells you they're wrong for you. It doesn't matter how much somebody else tells you that they got these character flaws or whatever. It doesn't matter. Why? Because you're high as a kite. You have oxytocin going off in your brain, and you can't control it. So, when you fall in love, and somebody says, oh, they have chemistry. That is so true. There are chemicals rolling around in your body that you had no clue of. But that's just the first thing that happens. Let me tell you about number two. Number two is endorphins, or not hormones. Hormone levels, man. Let me just say this. Ladies, when you meet that guy, and you're like, oh, he's kind of hot. I like him. Geez, look nice. That's good. I like that, okay? And he likes you. Let me just tell you exactly what happens to you. His, not yours, his estrogen level will be higher than it's ever been in your whole relationship, okay? He will have it spikes up, so he is more like you than he ever will be. This is why, it's just so predictable, especially in high school, right? This is why you'll have the girls, and they'll get together, and they'll talk about how to go, oh, he just talks so much. He listens so well. We had the talk. We talked for hours into the night. It was so incredible. It's because he's a big girl, okay? That's exactly why. Just being really honest. I've never met a dude who's like, you know what I just really like to do? I just really like to talk to somebody for 4 hours. Like, hey, Nick, can we hang out and just talk? No, that's weird. Dudes don't do that. But they do in the beginning of the relationship. And if you're not careful, you're going to be dating somebody, and you're going to think, oh, it's special. He listens so well. No, he is so high. His estrogen level's through the roof. He'll listen. He'll connect with you, and you will feel like you're special, and you will feel like there's a connection, and there's not. There's not. It's just biology happening. Guys, just so you know, she's the opposite. When you meet her, and she gets excited, and you're in the beginning part of the relationship, her testosterone level, high. She is aggressive, physically, sexually, relationally. And you're like, oh, this is great, man. She is all over me. This is awesome. I love this. She's so cool. She played tackle football. Ladies, how many of you want to play tackle football today? That's exactly what I thought. Okay, yeah. But in high school, okay, all the girls are like, let's go play tackle. And you're like, she's so cool, man. She's great. No, she's high, okay? She's on drugs. And one day she's going to come down and she'll be like, what in the world was I? Get away from me. We ain't playing tackle football, you moron. You know, that's exactly the conversation. But what's going to happen is, this is the practical part about it. The first 3 to 6 months, those estrogens, those testosterone levels are high, and you're going to be going at it, and you're going to be talking, and going at it in bed, and talking, and going at it in bed, and going at it in bed, and the drugs are going to wear off. You're going to wake up one day. We don't talk as much. We don't sleep together as much. We don't talk as much. We don't sleep together as much. We slept together, more than I talk. If we talk more, then we sleep together. And it's just argument back and forth. Why? It's not because you changed. It's not because they changed. It's because your drug levels went through the floor. And about 6 months into every relationship, maybe a year, depending on how long you spend with them and studies and what you believe, then you start to see who they really, really are. Third thing that happens. And this one happens to everybody, whether you're in love or not. This is kind of a general rule of science and biology, but it ties back to relationships. That your heart rate, when your heart rate, no matter who you are, goes above 120 beats per second roughly, your decision, cognitive ability goes through the floor. You can't make decisions. This is why today, you ever seen a quarterback? Nick Foles, last week, looked amazing, right? No pressure on him, okay? This is why today, I promise you, here's the deal. The quarterback, okay, how many people want the Patriots to win? What? We're doing an altar call right now, okay? If you need to receive Jesus, come forward. I don't. Sit down. Jesus, please help them. They are all high right now. They must be in love because they're not seeing. Anyway, but here's the deal. If you've ever watched this, okay? You ever watch a quarterback, and in practice, they're amazing. Maybe in a game when there's nothing going on, they're amazing. And then all of a sudden, you've seen it, whether you like sports or not, and it transcends basketball, all those sports. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a quarterback, and all of a sudden the linebacker's coming at him. The defensive end's coming at him. The pressure's on. We call it the it factor. Some can handle it, some can't. When that heart rate goes over 120 beats and you get nervous and you get scared, all of a sudden your decision-making goes through the floor. And I guarantee you today, Nick Foles will get pressure, and he will throw the pass to the wrong person. And every one of you pagans, okay, not me, everyone will think this to themselves. What was he thinking? The answer was he wasn't. He couldn't. His biology betrayed him. Happens all the time. This is important when you come up with dating and relationships and sex and drugs and the whole deal. Because I get to do a lot of counseling. The thing that people express to me the most, I mean, when people want to meet with me, I can almost guarantee it has to do with some sexual past, because nobody's like, hey, Nick, can I meet with you? I stole a rock when I was 12, and I've never gotten it off my chest. Like, that never happens. That almost always there is a sexual sin, there is an issue in the past that they carry with them, that there's regret and pain and guilt and frustration. I mean, tell you exactly how that happened probably from many of you. That you didn't understand what was happening in your body, and you didn't know you were high. And you connected with somebody, and you thought it was special, and you thought it was unique, and you thought they were great. And then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you were sure you were never going to cross a line, you were never going to go past a boundary, you were never going to go there, look at that, do that, whatever that thing is that you crossed that night. But that's when you weren't excited, and that's when your heart rate wasn't up, and that's when you weren't next to them, and the dopamine wasn't quite going off as much, and oxytocin hadn't kicked in yet, because the oxytocin's the cuddle drug, and you hadn't given them a hug yet. But you gave them a hug at 7 o'clock at night, and things started changing. You started feeling things. And your heart rate went up, and your decision-making went down, and you crossed a line. You wake up the next morning. You think to yourself, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I compromised my values like that. I can't believe I went there. Reality is, biology would tell you that's exactly what should have happened. That we were made that way. And if you're not aware of it, if you don't understand what's happening to you biologically, if you don't understand what's going on with the cocktail of drugs, with your heart rate, and your hormone levels going off the charts in the opposite direction that they normally do, you will compromise under the guise, under the myth that you were in love. You're not in love. You're just high. Welcome to River Lake Church. So here's what I want to do today. As I said, today's kind of foundational, and that's going to build the foundation for the next several weeks. Because I think too often we want to make everything spiritual. We want to talk about God and just pray more and just understand and just sit back and go, hey, are you going to cross any lines? No. How come? I just don't want to. I'm going to be faithful, Nick. I'm going to do. In marriage, you're going to get divorced? No. Why? Because I just don't want to. I love her. I love him. Who cares? Love comes and goes. Feelings come and go. I want to give you 3 things in light of that. I want to unpack 3 kind of principles that are incredibly important as we move on. And then over the next several weeks, we're going to talk about it. Next week, I'm telling you right now, do not bring your kid to church, okay? Like, you probably never hear me say that. You can bring them to church, bring them in kids ministry. But we're going to talk about sex. And man, you think today's funny and fun? Next week's going to be great. But I want to give you 3 things that we're going to talk about. Number 1 is this. You're high when you're in love. You're high. We just got done talking about that, but there's some stuff I want to unpack. See, if you're here today and you would say, Nick, I met somebody, and it's crazy. I don't know how you know. We did have the talk, and he is so special, and he's so great, and she's so amazing, and we did play football. It was great. You're high. And what I want you to know is this. Being in love, feeling in love is not a bad thing. It just makes you blind. In fact, we're going to put it. Being in love isn't bad, it just makes you blind. It just blinds you to reality. In fact, here's what happens. I've got my best Elton John glasses right here, okay? $4.95 from Amazon. Here we go. When you fall in love, you put on rose-colored glasses. And everything that you see is beautifully pink. You all look way better right now. I'm just telling you, you're a good-looking audience right now, okay? Yeah. When you have these glasses on, you see what you want to see. Everything is positive. Everything is great. Why? Because you're high as a kite. You're like, oh, isn't the sun great? Isn't the stars great? And I'm going to write poetry and whatever. I'm going to tell you, one of the weeks, I'm going to read you a poem that I wrote to my wife. It's just terrible, but she liked it. Why? She was high, okay? Like, it's just a terrible poem. I read it now, and I'm going, what? And that's terrible. That's sappy, But I was high, so was she. It's okay. Listen, being in love isn't bad. It just makes you blind. And the problem is this. Don't miss this. This is why you look back, some of you, in your previous relationships, And maybe you've said to yourself, or maybe out loud, I don't know, and you look back at some of the boys, some of the girls that you used to date, and you say to yourself, what did I see in them? I don't understand what I saw in them. To which I would say, I do. You saw exactly what you wanted to see, no more, no less. You saw exactly what you'd hoped to see. You saw all their positive things. You saw all their great traits. You saw none of their negative traits. Why? Because you're high as a kite. And when you're in that place, you walk around with rose-colored glasses. It's not a bad thing. Being in love's great. It's a great feeling. We already talked about it. It just makes you blind, and you don't see clearly. You can't see exactly what you're called. You don't have normal glasses on. And so you make decisions, and you make poor decisions on the guise of blindness. Let me put it this way. Here, we're going to put up the next point. We miss their flaws because of our feelings. If you're dating someone right now and you would look at me and you go, Nick, they're perfect. Wrong answer. You're high. Try again, okay? Like that's just the bottom line. If you say, oh, they have no flaws. They're so great. They're so nice. He listens. He talks. He's high, okay? She's perfect. She's so aggressive. She's so cool, man. She'll play video games with me. That'll be the last time she plays video games with you, okay? Seriously. Like, she does not want to play Call of Duty with you. She's high as a kite. That should be the warning. Like, if a girl walks in, we're like, hey, can we play Call of Duty? You're high. Get away, okay? Like, yeah, that should be it right there. They're high. It's okay. But if you don't know it, you'll make bad decisions. You'll miss their flaws because of your feelings. So, what do you do? What do you do with this? Next statement. If you can't see what the people who love you the most and the people who've been with you the longest see, then you're blind, not them. Let me speak to some high schoolers and to some college people right now. If you're in high school, listen to me. You can check out the rest of the whole thing. Listen to me right now. If the people who love you the most and who have been with you the longest are looking at you right now saying, I don't know if I like him. I don't know if I like her. I think she's bad for you. Listen, at the end of the day, you're the one who's blind, not them. Because they raised you, okay? They put up with you for 10, 12, 15, 20 years. Trust me, they're invested, okay? New guy, not invested. New girl, not invested. It's the people who love you the most and been with you the longest. See things that you don't see. You just need to understand it's you that are blind, not them. And that's okay. In fact, I would just say this. If you're in a relationship right now and you feel that love, again, it's not a bad thing. I would say that your next step today is to go find some other people, some people that love you the most and have been with you the longest, and just ask them, hey, what do you see that I don't see? You might as well know it. You might as well walk it, because the worst thing is you get married, and I've seen it over and over and over again. People get married and they wake up and go, what? How did I miss this? Because you're blind. There were warning signs. People told you. You just didn't pay attention because you were high. Which leads to our next point, which is this. They're new, not special. Man, I hear this all the time. Nick, I met. I think they're the one. Wrong answer, okay? There's no one, all right? There's never a one. That's from Disney. It's dumb, okay? Don't say that, okay? There's no such thing as a one. Matter of fact, biologically speaking, you are compatible physically, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually with about 1 million people, okay? That's not sexy, is it? But the next time you're with your romantic partner, I want you to look down at them and just sit back and go, hey, I just want you to know, honey, you are one of 1 million people. To which she will smack you and tell you, don't you mean 1 in a million? You'll be like, no, you are one of 1 million. I could have been with anybody, but don't miss this. I could have been with anybody. I chose you. And I choose you today. And I'm going to choose you tomorrow, and I'm going to choose you the next day. Because love is about our choices. See, if you think they're special, the moment the feelings leave, they're no longer special, and you will look to somebody else, and you will go from relationship and marriage and relationship and marriage and relationship and marriage over and over and over again, always in the relentless pursuit of the one. Always in the relentless pursuit of, if I can just find the right person to make me happy, then I'll be happy. That's a myth. And the person you're with right now, they're not special. They're just new. And that's not a bad thing, but it can make you blind. And if you don't know that, you will make decisions based off that will mess you up. It'll mess up the trajectory of your life. Because see, what happens is when you're in a marriage, and I'm going to speak to married people really quickly here. Because when you're dating, it doesn't really matter. You just go from relationship to relationship all you want. There's a little fallout there, but you know. But when you're married and you believe, they're special. When you're married and you don't understand chemically what's going on with you, you will be tempted to put on the glasses of green. As in, the grass is always greener. As in, man, if I was married to him, my life would be better. If I could date her, I mean, my wife, are you kidding me? She does, and she never, and always, and he always, and you know, but man. And we're looking across the street. We're comparing somebody else's highlight reels with our behind the scenes. And we deal with all the junk at home and all the chaos at home. And then we go to work, or we go to our job, or we go out to the gym, or whatever that is, and all we see is just them at their highlights, all at their best. I mean, it's crazy how people just get really pumped up and pretty for the gym. I don't understand that at all, okay? But, you know. And we're just thinking to ourselves, if I only, the grass is greener. The grass is green. Oh, and you know what? They make me feel a certain way. The power of dopamine and oxytocin, we've done studies. They've come to conclusions that it can actually make you feel as if you didn't even love your current spouse. Matter of fact, I've had people say that to me. I literally sat down over lunches and counseling sessions, and somebody will look at me and say, Nick, I found somebody else, and oh man, she's amazing. She's so awesome. She's so aggressive. She's so, I mean, I can predict it. Matter of fact, I used to write a letter to somebody, let them explain it to me, no joke, and then I would give them a letter, and it would say exactly what they said. So you're not special here. That's how I know it. I'm not a psychic. You're not special. There you go. But then they will say, I'm so in love with so-and-so, I'm not sure I ever really loved my previous person. It's not true. It's just the power of being high. That it can literally rewrite memories. It can literally, as I said earlier, oxytocin, it's the truth serum. It'll rewrite your truth. And it feels true. And it feels right. And if you're not careful, I've seen it over and over again. I've seen husbands and wives walk away from marriages, walk away from kids, walk away from financial stability, walk away from everything. Why? On the myth of a drug that somehow the person they found is special. They're not. They're just new. And you give it long enough, and you give it enough time, that feeling will go away also. Except the only difference is you're going to be with the second person, and you're going to have the same problems because you're in the middle of it, and yet it's compounded because now you've got an ex-spouse, and you've got kids that don't like you because you ruined the whole marriage, and you've got a whole bunch of chaos. I'm telling you. If you don't understand what's going on, you're going to make some bad decisions. And there's some people here maybe right now who you have an affinity, you have an affection towards somebody else right now, and you can't explain it, and you can't even discuss it, and it's kind of in you, and you're not sure what to do with it, and you're starting to question your marriage, and you're starting to question things. Just telling you right now, you're high. It will go away. And there is hope. But when I say that to people, when I sit down in counseling and they're going, oh, it's too bad and you don't understand and blah, 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 and it'll never get better. What they will say to me at some point in time, and I hear this over and over again, Nick, you can't help who you love. Culture says that all the time. Can't help who you love. To which I say, nope, wrong. Again, you absolutely control who you love. Here's what you can't control. Who you have an attraction toward in life is random. 100% random. You have zero control over that, 100% random. How much traction they have in your life is intentional. Let me unpack that for you. Who I have an attraction towards is random. I can walk down the street, she's hot. I have zero control over that. I didn't wake up that morning and go, listen, at 10:18, I'm going to be walking down the street and I'm going to find some blonde-headed or some dark-haired girl attractive. I have zero control over that. Who I'm attracted to, who you're attracted to is 100% random. Their personality, their looks, everything. You have zero control over that. Never confuse attraction with traction, though. Because traction is how far you're willing to go with that person. Traction is how much you're willing to risk and give up to be with that person. And the moment you find somebody attractive, let me just say right now, you are not willing to lose your marriage over, right? I mean, you see somebody attractive, at that moment, you're not going, you know what? Yep, she's attractive. I'll risk my marriage, my kids, my job, everything. Yep, right now, let's go. No, you don't say that. That's not at all what happened. No. What happened was you found somebody attractive, and you started to spend time with them, and you started to address it a little bit more, and you started to kind of do some stuff, and you started to pursue them, and that gave that relationship traction. Now it was 100% intentional. And over a week and a month and a year, whatever, all of a sudden you wake up one day and you go, oh, I think I'm in love with him. I don't think I love my spouse anymore. Can't help who you love. Absolutely do. In fact, what I want you to know, and if you're married here today, don't miss this. This is what I want you to get. No matter where you're at, feelings, how you feel, feelings of love, feelings, always, every time, 100%, feelings follow faithfulness. I can prove it to you. Because if you're here today, you had some feelings with your spouse, right? When you were dating, and you were high as a kite and you had some feelings, okay? And those come natural. That's your attraction, whatever. But then you did some stuff. You got up and you got them a coffee and you brought it to them early in the morning, or you did some other stuff. You carried her purse, or you had the conversation. You did a whole bunch of things over a period of time, and you were faithful in pursuing them, and you woke up one day and went, I love them. That's what happened, right? If you're married, somewhere, some story that way. Here's the deal. If you're divorced and it was partly you, or if you're here today and you find yourself married but attracted to somebody else, let me tell you your story. You woke up one day. It was a normal day. You didn't plan on anything, but you found somebody attractive. You walked by her desk. You walked down the street next to him. You rode the elevator up with her. I don't know what it is. You are attracted, and it was random. But then you were faithful. You were faithful in trying to take that same elevator ride the same day, at the same time, every time, just in the hopes of running into her. You were faithful, guys, in putting on your best outfit for her and walking near her desk and sucking in your gut, going, hey, what's going on? To look better. You were faithful in checking text messages from them, and you were faithful in checking their Facebook account and seeing what they're up to and liking their posts, and you were faithful to laugh at his or her jokes. You were faithful over and over and over and over and over again. You were faithful for a long period of time. And because you're faithful and feelings always follow faithfulness, you woke up a week, a month, 6 months later. And in that moment, because now it has traction, because now attraction went to traction in your relationship, now you're willing to risk it all. Now you're willing to walk away. Now you're willing to kind of leave and divorce and move on. And you'll lie to yourself. And you'll tell yourself, and your friends will lie to you because they care about you. And there may be a culture will lie to you and tell you, oh, you can't help who you love. You absolutely control who you love. Who you are attracted to in this world, who you have an attraction toward in this world is random. But how much traction they have in your life is 100% intentional. This is why it's so important to be aware of what's going on. Because if you don't know biologically what happens, you won't set up the right boundaries, and you will lie to yourself. I hear it over and over and over again and go, Nick, what's a thought hurt? Listen, you can fantasize, you can think, okay, listen, I would never do anything on it, but have you seen? That's how it starts. You faithfully think, and then it faithfully turns into an action, it faithfully turns into a habit, it faithfully turns into progression, and then one day you wake up. And again, you ask yourself, what happened? What was I thinking? You weren't. You were high. You didn't know how your body responded, and you thought it responded differently. You thought your desires would determine your destination in life, and so you didn't want to get a divorce, and you wanted to stay married, and so you thought you'd ever stay married. You thought passion is what's going to carry you. I will tell you right now, passion will carry you about 6 months to a year. A plan will carry you for your whole life. We're going to talk about that plan in a few weeks. But I want to wrap it up with this. If you were God and you knew all this, if you were God and you kind of created the world and you created this whole system, you created this whole kind of thing, you created biology, you created people to kind of react this way, you created the drugs, none of this is a surprise. If you were God and you not only created human beings like that, but you could see into the future and see the confusion surrounding it, what would you say? what would you write about love if there was confusion about it? Paul writes something that I think is so incredibly important. As a matter of fact, there's a chance you said it at your marriage, wedding. Probably never thought two thoughts about it. Because at that time you were in love. It just sounded good. But I want to read you what I believe God inspired Paul to write that kind of speaks into the situation about where we're at. He says this: love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. And if you stopped right there in your relationship, in your marriage, and you just did those, you would have an amazing marriage. If you just sit back and say, listen, I'm going to assume the best, and I'm not going to dishonor you, and I'm not going to be egotistical around you, I'm going to serve you, and I'm not going to be envious. I'm going to be patient with you. So many times I find that we're so patient with our coworkers at work, and we come home, we've lost all of our patience. But Paul doesn't end it there. He says this: love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. This is huge, always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Now, how could Paul write that? Because I don't love him anymore. Because I don't love her. How could Paul write, love never fails, when the feelings are so fleeting? Because at the end of the day, what Paul writes is love is not a feeling. It's an action. Love is not how you feel. Love is not the ooey gooey, dopamine, oxytocin, love, cuddle drug that you feel. Love is an action. Paul writes it. Essentially, he says what I said a few minutes ago: your feelings of love will follow your actions, but your actions have to come first. Because love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It always protects. It always does so many different things. So today, if you're married, here's your homework for the week. I want you to have a conversation today. I want you, maybe on the ride home, maybe over lunch, I don't know what it is. I want you to sit back and I want you to ask your spouse one question and one question alone. I want you to ask them just dead in their eyes, what's one thing I can do for you? What's one thing on this list or some other list? What's one thing I can do to serve you, to love you? What's one way? Not my feelings, because you may not feel that way. You may be sitting there and you've got the blue glasses on. You've got the depressed glasses on. There may not be somebody else in your world right now, but you're walking around going, Nick, it's hopeless. It's hopeless. I'm depressed. It's terrible. It'll never get better. It's how you feel, but it's not reality. You've got the wrong glasses on. You're not seeing clearly. Paul says, listen, your feelings follow your faithfulness. So if you act a certain way, if you behave a certain way, your feelings will follow that. Some of you here today, you're in a marriage and it's a loveless marriage. I want you to know there's hope. Because love never fails. You serve somebody long enough, what will happen is over time, the glasses will come off. The glasses will come off and you're past the red glasses. The blue glasses will come off and you'll be able to put on regular glasses to see clearly. But it starts with a conversation. It starts today with you asking your spouse, what's one thing I can do for you? What's one way I can love you? Not 10, but just one thing that I can do. And then if you're the spouse and you're being asked, I want you to do something just maybe kind of scary for you. I want you to be 100% transparent. I want you to say the thing that pops into your mind that you think, oh, but if I say that, they might think I'm weird, or I don't want to say that because we had that conversation again, just have a conversation. Because your temptation is like my temptation to blow it off and go, oh, Nick, we're fine. We love each other. Awesome, that's a feeling. That's passion. That's not a plan. And one day those feelings will go away and you're left with your disciplines. You're left with your plans. You're left with the direction of your relationship. And so have the conversation. I don't know where you're at today. I believe you're probably in one of three situations. You may be here today and you are like love drunk, okay? That's cool. That's awesome. If you're here today and you're in love, man, that's great. Stay there as long as you can. It's fleeting. Gone. But your next step is to ask some people who love you the most and have been with you the longest. Hey, is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything I'm missing in this person right now? because I want to see clearly. I don't want to wake up one day with one of the other pair of glasses on because I didn't recognize what was happening to me biologically. Some of you, it's the green glasses. Like you're here today and the grass is greener and I'm talking, you're going, but Nick, you don't understand it. No, she's so great and he's so great. Man, my marriage is loveless and that whole deal. And if I could just. It's a lie. It's a drug. You're high. Don't throw away a lifetime for a few months. Don't throw away your legacy so that you feel good for 6 months. It's not worth it. The last one, get the blue glasses on. You think it's hopeless. You think there's no way. You're stuck. Have the conversation today. Serve them. Serve them and know. Leave here today, hopefully, feeling hope that you know what, today I'm not going to feel better tomorrow, and not next week. You can't microwave this, but eventually, feelings always follow faithfulness. Love never fails. Would you all stand with me? The next several weeks are going to be incredible. I can't wait. We're going to build off of this. We're going to talk about sex next week. We're going to talk about passion and planning week 3. And then my favorite one, we're going to talk about the new rules of dating in week 4. Love, sex, and dating. So it's going to be awesome. Let me pray for you. We'll get you out of here. God, thank you so much for your grace, your wisdom. Thank you so much that we have a higher calling than our base needs. I pray that you would guide those who are wearing the rose-colored glasses. Give them the people around them. Give them an accountability. I pray for those with the green glasses that you would help them trust you, that they would walk away from any unhealthy relationships, that they would start to lean into you and not someone else. And for those that are helpless, that feel hopeless, that feel stuck, Lord, help them take the next step towards their spouse. Help them believe that love never fails, that your love for us never fails. Help us not be addicted to love. We love you. We thank you so much. God bless. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday.